Let's talk about some things that I think you'll find very interesting, but also really set you up for success in the course. And this lesson, we're going to talk about the universal language of technical analysis, how it can apply in many different contexts. I'm going to show you some free practice tools or explain how those work with paper trading and back testing that you're going to end up using a lot once you get through the course. And then also talk a little bit about trading platforms. So you get a lot of questions like, what's a good platform, or where can I find a platform that works for me so I can actually do this trading? We're going to talk about that at the end of this lesson. So great lesson to get started with. So let's get started. So first off, the universal language of technical analysis. And what that means is we can kind of speak the same language by using these same tools and indicators no matter where you're at or what type of security you're looking at, for example. So if we talk about language, of course, there's many different languages out there. Here's different ways that you can say hello. But in technical analysis, if we're going to talk about, let's say, a trend line forming, that's the same no matter what the language, which is very interesting and terrific, actually. So that's why, on a quick note on terminology, I'll use the term security because that'll refer to really any financial instrument that holds some type of monetary value and is traded on an exchange. So examples of securities under this definition are like stocks, cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and others like Ethereum, or foreign exchange currency trading or the Forex market, because these concepts are universally applicable no matter what you're looking at. Now, governments may debate, like especially around things like Bitcoin, is that a security or whatever, but for our purposes, all these things definitely are. Is it worth some money? Can you trade it, and can you trade it publicly in an exchange? And all these things fit, and then all the tools that we're going to talk about apply not only to the stock market, but as you learn them, you can actually, if you want to trade other types of securities, you can apply what you learned into those other securities as well. And isn't that really kind of great or terrific? So if we look at, let's say, an example of something from the course, this is a candlestick. It's a price bar, represents price. Came from Japan, so a lot of times you might hear them referred to as Japanese candlesticks. But if you look at this is the exact same candlestick, the same way it would be represented in different countries like India, Australia, Mexico, USA, wherever, UK, Eurozone, no matter where you are, a candlestick is going to be the same as far as look and how you interpret it and how you would apply it. That's the same thing as we talked about earlier, where not only can you apply these concepts to the stock market, but you can apply in things like Bitcoin, Forex, gold, or precious metals that are traded, or commodities like pork bellies or something like that, or rice that might be traded. So concepts are universal. It's a universal language. So you only need to learn one language. So if we look at an example, here's a stock chart, and don't worry about this yet as far as understanding how to read it. The concept you want to take away is you don't know whether this chart is reflecting stocks or Bitcoin as an example, but the concepts of when to buy and when to sell will work no matter what. And once you learn how to read this type of chart, which you will in the course, you'll be able to apply that. So that's really terrific, isn't it? And the concepts will work on the securities also no matter what time frame they are as well. So in this example, this is from the same security, but it's different time frames. And because I'm like, one is a day time frame, one is a week, one is a month, one is more like 3 months, you can't tell which one is which without labeling the time frame, because the concepts, again, are universal. You don't have a special type of indicator or special look of a candlestick price bar, for example, in one time frame versus another. So again, very universally applicable. And if you look at the bottom left there, you can see something where I've drawn a blue trend line. We'll learn about drawing trend lines. And there's a concept called a shaven top, right? Where the top of that little candle is and have a real tall wick. That's called a shaven top, and you'll learn about that too. Again, universally applicable. On the far right, same thing. You have a shaven bottom. It's just the bottom is missing the wick. And then you have these things where they're very narrow kind of bodies of the candle, which are called dojis. Again, we're going to learn all about this stuff in the course. The key takeaway is it's very, very applicable no matter what you're looking to do. Okay, so that's great. But now you might be thinking too, like you're probably thinking early on, at some point you're going to say, as I go through the course, I'd like to try some of these ideas without risking any money. Can I do that? I really like to try it, but I don't want to risk money, especially when I'm on a learning curve and I want to learn and apply things before I risk a lot of my hard-earned money. Can I do that? And the great answer is yes, most definitely. There's two ways to do that, and that's called paper trading and back testing. So let's take a look at each of those and how they work. So paper trading is where you can basically trade for free. Almost all, I think, online broker sites will offer this for free with, in effect, fake money, whatever your currency is, whether it's dollars or euros or rupees. But an online broker site will offer this type thing for free. So you want to look for if they're offering paper trading. And all it is you basically get the practice for free. It's with fake money. It's a safe space where you can learn the mechanics of placing trades and building a portfolio and trying different things that you might learn through the course. And you can kind of get real comfortable with it before you start actually testing with money. So you're test driving these new investment indicators or tools that we're going to learn about, strategies and order types, whether it's a market order or a limit order or a stop order, all these things you're going to learn in the course. You can try it all without risking any money. So really look forward to paper trading. In addition is back testing. Also, you can find a lot of them for free on online broker sites. And again, you're using fake money. And what that is it's looking backward. Let's say through the course, I'm going to teach you how to develop strategies and you're going to learn the tools. And you're going to use these things and you want to test it to see what the results would have been in the past. Would it have succeeded in the past? No guarantee that it succeed in the future, but if it succeeds in the past, there's a very good chance it will succeed in the future. And you can kind of see your results there as well too. So basically you can build it, you can then input into the back testing program or algorithm as part of the online broker, and then you pull real data from the past, from the broker side automatically, and you can see results. You can say, well, if I invested X number of rupees or dollars, and I put that in, and I used this strategy, and this would have occurred, let's say, at a certain period in the past with a certain security, what would have been my results? Would I have made money? Would I have lost money? So back testing gives you a chance to, again, try your strategies and things before you start actually implementing them with real money. You see how these kind of go together? Paper trading is kind of letting you get practice the mechanics and trying different things, and back testing is kind of proving your ideas and thoughts that you learn through the course. So they work good in concert together. And they're very similar, and they're designed to, basically practice what you learn in the course. Back test is looking at historical stuff. Paper trading is looking at the current type of market, how things would have looked at. And then the next step after you do back testing and paper trading would be live trading, which is really where you're now investing real money. Now you're an active trader, doing investments. So, and you might ask yourself, well, why would an online broker offer this type of powerful mechanisms for free? Why don't they charge for that? And some may, but the reason they do is they want you to be successful. I certainly want you to be successful, but they really want you to be successful because they want you to learn and use their system. They want you to trade real money eventually, and then they can charge fees against that trading. When you make a trade, some are no fee trades, and some trades, which might be a little bit more complex, again, we'll learn about them, they might charge you a small fee to conduct that trade. Either way, that's how the platform makes money. And the platform can't make money if you're not comfortable or happy with the platform. So it's like test driving a car, right? If you can test drive the platform through paper trading and back testing. So that's their incentive there. It's always good to sometimes see what everyone's incentive is. My only incentive is thank you for investing in the course, and all I care about is helping you become great at trading. That's all I'm focused on. Another thing is well, how do we choose these different types of online platforms to use? Is there some you could recommend or something of that nature? And really the first thing you want to do is make sure that the platform is governed by the laws of where you live and that uses the currency that you want. I mean, if you're in India, you want to be able to trade in rupees, for example, than as opposed to if you're in somewhere else where you're trading in yen or euros or whatever it might be. Easy way to do that, it's going to seem super easy, simple, I guess, is to do an internet search and just put in stock chart tools for, and then whatever country you want, or something like that, and you'll start seeing things to come up. So we put in, for example, here, India, you could put USA, you could put anything. It would come up with the top things. You're going to usually find these two towards the top. You can see stockcharts.com and TradingView. There's indie versions of both of those. Those are the two real leaders out there, by the way. And TradingView trades multiple types of securities. I think StockCharts does too, but they're mostly stocks. But TradingView, you can trade cryptocurrency as well as stocks and different things. So those are ways you want to find and then start your research based on that. You'll usually, when you do that too, start finding articles like the 18 best technical analysis software for stock trading in India, right? So you can then look at these articles and at least get lists of things that you can start evaluating. And as you go through the course and learn the tools, then you can kind of see, okay, what are they offering? What can they do? How does it look? How comfortable do I feel? So the same thing, you could put in like online stockbrokers, for example, to find an actual broker in the different, wherever you live, UK, USA, wherever, and it'll usually come up with different articles like, best UK trading platforms, or NerdWallet's best online brokers for stock trading in the United States. This happens to be USA. I'm not recommending any of them. It's up to you to kind of go dig a little deeper after you start learning stuff in the course and see what might be interesting to you. So if you're in, let's say, Thailand or Indonesia or wherever, you want to make sure that it supports what you're doing in your country, in your currency. So these are some great ways to set you up for success. So as you go through the course, then you can kind of start to, have this in the back of your mind, like, I'm learning stuff and I feel comfortable, and I can always, like, say, paper trade it or back test it if I really want to, start applying many of the things that we're going to learn. So a great way to set yourself up for success.